everybody, I'm Nadine Brandis, the author of FAWKES and the Out of Time series, and today I wanted to talk about what exactly is traditional publishing and what is independent/self-publishing. So I just wanted to define those for you guys today because I've actually gotten that question a lot, and every author and writer has to learn the answer at some point. So since I had to learn them at one point, I figure I might as well share with you. So hopefully this video will help you or somebody else you know be able to identify the differences between the two. First off, you should know I have never independently published. I've always been traditionally published. So if you know something about self-publishing that I get wrong, be sure to let me know down in the comments. Or if you think I've forgotten something, be sure to add that as well. So traditionally published usually means going with a traditional publishing house. And the reason it's called traditional publishing is because that's how publishing used to be done. You would take your book and you would take it to a publishing house and you would hand them your manuscript and say, I hope that you love this. And then they would either say, no, I hate it. Or they'd say, yes, I love it. And they would publish it and do all of that work of printing it and distributing it and all of that for you. Nowadays, traditional publishing is pretty much the same concept, that you are handing over the rights to your manuscript to a publishing house in exchange for them publishing and distributing that book. But the process looks a little different than going and knocking from door to door. Now you usually need an agent who understands the publishing process and has connections with all of the publishing houses, and they represent you, the author, and they do kind of all of the legal jargon and the nitty-gritty work for you, which I'll cover in another video at some point. But to get traditionally published, now instead of you going around knocking on physical doors, your agent is usually knocking on virtual doors via email to present your book to a publisher who might be interested. When you hand over the rights to your manuscript, you join teams with the publisher to edit your book to really strengthen the story, and then they take care of paying editors to edit it for you, putting together a cover. They also do a lot of marketing and they team up with you to market it the best that they possibly can. They have contacts with brick and mortar bookstores and review journals and all of these big people who help spread the word about your book. And in exchange, you give them a lot of your profits. A typical percentage when you give the rights and sign a contract with a publisher is somewhere between 12 and 20%, somewhere in that range that you will get off of the profits of your book. Now, what also usually happens with a traditional publishing house is that when you do sign a contract with them, they give you what's called an advance. An advance means a check of a certain amount saying, we think that you will sell at least this amount, or at least we hope that you will. So we're paying you in advance so that you can eat and live and get food and pay for house bills and things like that while you write the book, instead of signing away and then spending all of these months writing a book and having no money to feed yourself with. In short, a traditional publishing house is someone that you join hands with to publish your book, and your agent is also a part of that. And then the traditional publishing house takes over distribution and editing and cover design and all of those things that would usually come out of your pocket if you were to do it yourself. As a traditionally published author, I think it's completely worth it. I have had very, very positive experiences with my publishing houses, and I think that they and my agent earn every single penny that comes out of my royalties. So that is not an issue for me. Now, independent publishing, also known as self-publishing, you will probably hear both terms, self-publishing or indie publishing or independent publishing. They all mean the same thing. So to independently publish means that you, the author, are doing all of that stuff by yourself. You pay for an editor to edit your book, or sometimes more than one editor, and then you would have to hire a cover designer or do the cover yourself. And then after you have paid for the editing and you have paid for the cover, you have to figure out how to format it so that it looks like a book when it's printed, and who to partner with as distribution. And so there's a lot more that you have to do. You can't just be the author. You also have to head up every other step of the process. The advantage to this is that when you click publish, you get to keep every single penny that comes in. But the hard part is that a lot of money comes out of pocket in order to self-publish well. That is the key, you guys. independently publishing well, doing it right. Anybody can indie publish. Anyone can click print. And a lot of people just don't put the time and effort into it that needs to be put into it. So it can be really intimidating knowing that editors cost a lot, cover designers cost a lot. But if you get it well edited and you get a good cover design and you know how to market yourself, you can indie publish so well. I have several friends and I know several people who have independently published really, really well. We'll start with The Martian by Andy Weir. I do not personally know Andy, but this was an independently published book and now it's like huge and a bestseller and a movie. A friend of mine who is self-published is Katie Ganchert. She did not self-publish Life After, but she had a series, the Gifting series, which is a young adult series under the pen name K.E. Ganchert, and it did great. The covers are stellar, the writing is fantastic, and she's also traditionally published, so she has a hand in both worlds and completely dominates both. Elise Kova is a young adult author who self-published, and not only that, but hers are in hardcover because she was writing for YA and she understood that that's important to YA readers. Her cover is what got me to read her books, and I know that it's what drew in a lot of other people. She independently published very well and knew how to market herself. And then my friend Trisha Mingerink independently published, and her books are young adult fantasy and they're done really well. She has an entire series out and it has tons of followers and fans who love all of these characters. I am one of them. Oh, you guys, redeemed assassins? Seriously. So those are just some examples of authors who have independently published well, and that is the key. Being willing to put forth the time, the effort, and the money that will get you quality covers and quality editing and quality marketing. So that's the difference between traditional and independent publishing. I hope that that was helpful. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments and I would love to clarify anything that maybe I missed. And if you'd like to stay updated on my videos, please click subscribe or the little bell icon that will send you an email every time I post a new video. Tally-ho!